anyways, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go over each of the Lesson 2 practice answers. As we go over them, if you have questions, let me know. Raise your hand, okay? And again, I will look over the homework like I did last night to check your work against what you do right now to see if it's correct, okay? It was all about properties. Number 1, the missing number was the number 14. And we can tell that because we have the order 32, 32, blank, 14, and that would appear there. The property that we are looking at is the associative property of addition. Now, some of the kids may have just wrote down associative addition. That would have been fine. You should and you must have addition and associative. You must have those two words or it will be wrong, because if you don't have the word addition in there, I don't know, you might be thinking it's multiplication. So I have to be fussy that way. Number 2, the missing numeral is 8, and the property is the commutative property of addition. Any questions on those ones? Okay. Number 3, the missing number for number 3 is number 9. And again, the order of the factors does not change. The property then would be the associative property of multiplication. Yeah. Write the property correct underneath it. Don't worry about marking it wrong. Okay? Yes?
Would it be commutative too?
Well, it wouldn't be commutative because if you look at the 8, it's in the same spot, the 9 would be in the same spot, and the 7 would be in the same spot. So it would only be associative. Okay, it would only be associative. Okay, so if you did put down commutative, just cross it out. Okay. All right, number 4. The missing number is 34. 34 plus 0 equals 34. Okay, and what we're trying to do is think of the equal sign as a balance. Okay, and you want to balance things out. And the property, of course, would be the identity property of addition. Any questions? It's good to ask questions. We wanted to ask questions. Okay. Number 5. 12 times 3 equals 3 times some number. Well, in this situation, the answer would be reversing the order, and the missing number is 12, so that is the commutative property of multiplication. Number 6, we see multiplication again, but this time a factor of 1, which means that we're going to get our factor again, which means it is the identity property of multiplication. Anybody get those all right? A lot of people did. Cool. Those are kind of just the basics, all right? And, you know, we throw them out there sometimes just to kind of polish up our thinking. All right, that's kind of why we did it. Then they give us these questions, and the reasoning, when you see a question that says reasoning, that means they want you to think a little deeper about the concept. A little deeper about it, okay? Write a number sentence that shows why the associative property does not work with subtraction. Well, you guys are going to write a number sentence, or you are going to write a problem that proves that you can't use the associative property with subtraction. So in other words, you might do something like this. 10 minus 4, I'm going to do that first, minus 3, and then you're going to say, okay, it's got to equal, now it's the associative property, so we're going to use the same numbers, but then we're going to change out the order by which we do them. So you would simply move your parentheses, and then you say, okay, now, is this going to work? Well, if we have 10 take away 4, 10 take away 4 is 6, 6 take away 3 equals 3, right? And then over here we'd say, well, let's do what's in parentheses first. 4 take away 3 equals 1, and then 10 take away 1 equals 9. Oh, those are two different answers, so it does not work. It does not work. Did anybody happen to use the does not equal sign? No? That's all right. So what I'm going to do, don't worry about marking yours right or wrong. I'm going to look at what you wrote, because there's 28 of you in here, and that means there's going to be 28 different answers probably. Okay, different examples. So I'll take a look at what you wrote. Here's what the mathematicians put down. That's what the mathematicians put down. Okay? Notice that the mathematicians did not get very complicated, did they? No. Okay, number 8. Which property is shown in this example? Which property is shown? Well, we see we have parentheses. The parentheses have been moved. The order of the factors appears to be the same. So the answer is C, the associative property. The associative property. Okay. Now notice what they did here. They simply gave you more factors to look at. They didn't really change anything. It's kind of like the ones up above. They just gave you more of it. That's how they kind of like get you. Number 9, writing to explain. Again, you guys are all writing something different, okay, to explain this. Explain why you do not have to do anything to do any computing to solve 15 times 0 times 13 plus 7. Computing means calculating, means doing the math. And you don't have to do that because there's what involved in this? Clay?
A 0 and anything times 0 is 0.
Yeah, there's a 0 involved in this. So if you have 15 times 0 times 13 plus 7, we certainly, they throw the parentheses in there because they know most kids are going to do this. I got to do what's in parentheses first. So you do 13 plus 7 is 20. Now I got to do 15 times 0, 15 times 0. But if you stop and look, you say, wait a minute. Before I even pick up my pencil, I'm going to look at the problem carefully. And that's a habit we want to get into. Look at the problem carefully and ask yourself, do I even have to do anything? Well, in this case, the 0 tells you you don't have to do anything. Because you know that this is going to, 15 times 0 is going to result in 0. And now, 0 times anything else is going to result in 0. So you don't have to do any work. I'm going to look for answers that explain that. The product of 0 and any number is 0. Most kids are going to say there's a 0 in there, which is going to cancel out everything or whatever, okay? So I will read what you have, okay? Alrighty, look over your paper. If you have any questions, let me know. And what I'd like you to do right now is I would like you to pass that paper to the front of the room.